Now moving back to our story on the Russia-Ukraine peace proposal, and to give us more details with analysis on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Anil Thomas. Anil, a very good morning to you and a happy Holi as well. Now, talking about this particular issue, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he agrees with the idea of ending hostilities but needs assurances. Tell us more about this latest and much awaited development on the peace proposal, Anil.
Well, good morning, Deepika. Happy Holi to all the viewers and to all on the panel. Well, this particular line was very much expected from Putin. It's a smart reply that he's given to a proposal that's very vague in nature. Let's also understand that what are the two things why this conflict began. That's where the devil lies in the details. I think Putin is exploiting it to the hilt. The way in which he's gone about with a vague answer to a question where the proposals, deals are still not clear. But I think Putin is very right when he says, why exactly did this conflict start? This conflict, many know, started 3 years ago. But the reason for the conflict is especially the oppression of the Russians that lived in Ukraine, one, and the expansion of NATO that was happening eastwards, which was the cause of concern for Russia. And I think these two key issues have somewhere not in the details of this particular deal. There is a ceasefire deal. I think Russia would be happy to accept it. Remember, the longer this particular conflict continues, the better it is for Russia, and I think there is still no clarity, especially when it comes to NATO membership. Ukraine is that particular offer is off the table. But other than that, when it comes to the territory, that's roughly around 20% that's been annexed. What happens to that? No clarity on that. And the biggest surprise could be, there are areas like Kherson, which Ukraine lost, parts of which Ukraine lost. But then the soldiers that fought that particular fight back, managed to get parts of it, or rather re-annex some parts of it. What happens to those areas? Because there is a lot of sacrifice that the soldiers have done on the battlefield. And I think somewhere deep down, if that 20% of territory that's been annexed at this point of time, what if that swells to 25% or 30%, when the final deal will be signed? So there are issues that Zelensky faces. Zelensky understands that he doesn't have much on the table, that he can, somewhere get some concessions or some kind of deal through. So he's choosing that's the best option available for him. And I think Russia has made a smart move here by agreeing to the deal, but also waiting for the final detail or the final print to come out.
And how is Donald Trump reacting on the peace proposal? Because we are also learning the fact that 56% of Americans felt that he was too closely aligned with Russia.
Well, let's look into the details of that particular survey that's been conducted. 56% believe that Trump is aligning with Russia. That's not all. 27% of Republicans themselves feel, that's his own party, that believes that, it's very much in line with what Putin wants, or what Russia is almost singing the same tune that Putin wants the world to listen. And if you look at that particular survey, close to 89% of the Democrats feel that this particular deal, this particular thing that's happened, especially when it comes to Trump almost singing the same song that Russia wants, is very much clear on the cards. Look at the other offer. The survey has many other aspects. Look at the offer where, you give some, take some, especially when it comes to the rare minerals deal. There also there is a heavy feeling that, it cannot come, whatever aid or whatever humanitarian or military aid that America provides to Ukraine should not be free. It should be a give and take. And I think Trump has managed to get that particular point going for him. It cannot be free. Whatever we offer, humanitarian, military aid, cannot go free to Ukraine. You'll have to give something in return. That particular rare minerals trade that he's doing, $1 trillion, that are the resources that Ukraine holds, he wants $315 billion of it, worth of it. I think that's something that the Americans are happy looking at how things have panned out. But all in all, if you see that survey clearly indicates that, Trump, somewhere deep down, from the time he's come, to the story that he said, though a false claim, that Zelensky started the war, to Russia singing a different tune, that it's not America, but it's the Europe that's the cause of concern for all the world tensions, clearly indicate that there are shifts in stance that are important, looking at the geopolitical developments that are taking place, the new bonds of friendship that are being developed between Trump and Putin. And, we'll have to wait and watch But this is a serious cause of concern. This particular survey that's been carried out, it's come at a day. Remember, this is also the day that Crimea annexation in 2014, when it began. This is the anniversary of it. So 11 years down the line, this particular deal coming on the 14th of March is historical on many perspectives, but it is also a time for the world to ponder on, Trump and his policies forward.
Indeed, Anil, but also on the other hand, G7 is also seeking unity against Donald Trump's tariffs. Give us more details on this as well.
Well, G7 would feel the heat, especially the way things have moved around in the last 45 days or so, especially when it comes to tariffs being announced or tariffs being hiked. But having said that, G7 also has a window to leverage. They can go to the WTO, they can go to international trade organizations, they can look at local businesses in America, tell them that it's not possible, it's not working out for you, rather not look at Republican ruled states, but look at Democrat ruled states, try to build pressure, try to de-escalate things, also can bring about retaliatory tariffs, as many countries have looked to do. They can also bring about some kind of, minus United States of America, they can bring about some kind of alliances within the G7, which will look to counter, which will look to checkmate the United States and Trump policies. But having said all that, the way forward, to put it simply, could be diplomacy in the first place, strategic retaliatory tariffs that G7 countries can look forward to, and finally reinforcing or, rather looking at ways to re-navigate, especially when it comes to the global world bodies that handle tariffs. That could be the way forward for G7. But this is a tough call to make because, Trump has sometimes moved forward, then come back. So we'll have to wait and watch because Trump understands that tariffs are a great moment that he holds, especially when it comes to, his moving forward, because he believes that this is a great strategic move for him. These tariffs help him get more leverage on the world scene, and I think he's going to make more use of it. But remember, at the end of the day, making America first could also get affected. So it's a tightrope walk that Trump needs to do when it comes to tariffs, and I think he understands it well. Remember, there has been 2 backtracks on 2 tariffs that he's announced. So this is going to be, 1 step forward, 2 steps behind, and then leave the world confused. But all in all, it's created a dilemma for the world, especially when it comes to tariffs. Countries that are directly dealing with America, countries that, somewhere deep down have trade relations with America could also get affected in the near future. So countries would be left with...
All right.
Would feel the heat. They would, all likelihood, look to come up with plan A, B, C, D to tackle Trump and his administration.
All right. Thank you so much, Anil Thomas, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the much awaited developments. Thank you.